Good evening and welcome to Monday Night on Bad Dog Comedy TV, live on YouTube and Ayaka's Kitchen. Now, please give it up for your warm-up act, a toast.
Hello! Hello, everybody! How are you doing? Okay. Another joke. Are you ready? Okay, goes like this. Knock, knock. Who's there? I'm an Ecuadorian fad diet. Ecuadorian fad diet. Who? Quito. You see the Quito, the capital of Ecuador, Quito, fad, trendy diet. Woo! Trendy diet. You don't eat sugar and wheat. I'm a toast, and I'm a trendy. I'm a toast, I'm fat and trendy. I'm a fat and trendy diet. Quito! Q-U-I-T-O? Or K-E-T-O? I don't know how to spell. Bye-bye. Hello. Hi, everybody. Keto diet is fad. Means trendy, I think. Yeah, I think so. Okay, hi. Learning new word every day. Hi, I'm Ayaka. Hello, everybody. Here's another day, another episode of Ayaka's Kitchen on Bad Dog Comedy TV. So Bad Dog is a great place to be. So support Bad Dog. If you're capable, please consider supporting and donating. Here is the link for Bad Dog Comedy TV. It's a great place to be. Support, as well as subscribe, like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video. Subscribe, leave no message. Great. Thank you, Seann. You got it. Okay. Another episode. I'm super excited because I have a really good friend coming to my kitchen on the other side of this screen. And yeah, this person is so interesting. You'll be very entertained. This person does everything and speaks every language, been everywhere in the world, live in different places. We have to get to know this person. So many pockets to pull things from. So I'm gonna just introduce to you my great friend Wilfred. Hello.
Ayaka, sorry, I was just hanging out in your kitchen, and I just wanted to know what was cooking, and I'm really sorry, but I'm happy to be here.
You came from this up. See, I told you, everybody. We
I'm
don't know who this person is. Oh, phew, Wilfred, how are you doing? Was it
pretty
hot?
Good.
You roasted?
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, doing great. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I was just telling the audience how entertaining you are, and you have so many things to tell. And I did not know that side of you, that you are also a chicken.
No, I mean, I come from a long line of chickens, and my other egg friends have always been really great. So it's tough, but it's great at the same time. Yeah.
Good. Your egg friends, I gotta meet them at some point. But yeah, so other than the chicken, I would love to get to know you more, and I'm sure the audience want to get to know you more. So tell us, what is your background?
Yeah, so my background is Ecuadorian and Korean.
Ecuadorian and Korean. Tell us more.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I'm originally born in Toronto, but my mother, she's from Ecuador, specifically Guayaquil, and my father, he's from South Korea, specifically from Seoul area. And then they had met in Canada, and then that begins my journey into this life.
Wow. And so how did they meet? How do they speak English, or did they speak English? How did they communicate?
That's interesting because, I think my parents at the time were kind of the first type of generation to come into Canada, which kind of made this other generation where I was kind of born in there. So communication was obviously an interesting thing. I remember stories about when my parents were on dates before getting married. My dad would kind of carry around a dictionary because we didn't have smartphones or anything. So he just like had all these like, foot marks and everything in there just to kind of make sure which word to kind of figure out things. So that was like kind of a thing that I kind of tidbit I learned during that time. And then we had a convenience store. It was at 323 St. John's Road, but it's not there anymore. It's now an apartment of some kind. But we used to have a convenience store, and it was actually called Romano's Delicatessen. So we actually had, we were selling chips and cigarettes and lottery, but at the same time there was a little butcher area, and we would like slice Havarti cheese, mozzarella, Black Forest ham, like all these different things too. So it was kind of interesting too at that time.
Wow. Yeah, like nowadays, just like, hey Google, how do you say this word in different languages? Like before that time, you actually had to use dictionaries to even tell how beautiful you are to your date.
I know it's hard for a lot of people to kind of wrap their minds, but before the internet, really, like communicating, even I used to have a dictionary around. I think maybe it's just like a habit or DNA, who knows? But when I was living in Korea, which I'm sure we'll talk about soon, but I used to carry that everywhere. I would love to write down every single word, even if I didn't know, just to kind of help me get a feel for words and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So what language do you speak? Like what was your first language? Right now, obviously we are speaking in English, but yeah.
Well, that's a good question, because when I was born, my first language was actually Spanish, because, hanging out with my mom as a baby and just learning kind of like the native language of your mom, it tends to happen naturally. And then I started getting into cartoons, watching TV, Polka Dot Door, all these different shows, kids shows, and then started learning English. But growing up, I'm sure like a lot of Canadian students probably grew up learning Spanish or French too. So I took French and French immersion for a while.
What, really?
Yeah, like we had to take French. So it was like, qu'est-ce que tu fais? Excusez-moi, professor, like, est-ce que je peux aller boire? Can I go have a drink of water or something like that? So, but yeah, so I really do love languages. I really love to just, even if I don't understand it, I love the cadence of it, the rhythm. There's like a tonality, like there's like a personality just like entwined into like a certain language I just really love. And I think that's like the actor part of me, to kind of really get into a character or just like really feel that in with like what that's like. And when you can speak even like small things from different languages, like how happy does it feel to hear someone else like really try to, speak, say hello, or like try their best to communicate with you. Yeah.
And you lived in Korea, and you definitely speak Korean as well?
Yeah, well, so before, like I mentioned, like I could speak Spanish, but my entire life when I was growing up in Canada, I never really, only knew less than 1% of Korean. I only knew like hello, like 안녕하세요. Goodbye, which is like 안녕하세요, kind of the same thing. You just kind of say really fast, so you just don't slowly say like 안녕하세요. And like and thank you, 감사합니다. And one specific sentence I always had to say to my grandpa was 진지 첩수세요, which means go upstairs and eat, like food's ready. Like that's the only thing that stuck in my mind when I was a kid. And but other than that, I didn't really know Korean at all. So it was only after college, like 2006, I went to Korea just to kind of learn more cultural roots, but ended up staying there for like 10 years. But learning the language was so helpful, and I speak it a lot more now than I ever did before. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I knew about some of the languages you speak, but you also went to French immersion. That's really cool. Your parents really pushed you to learn so many languages. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, and like growing up in Canada, a lot of like diversity neighborhoods and stuff. So where I was in Etobicoke, like I had like a neighbor from Ethiopia or China or like Malta or Portuguese. Like my good friends ever since JK, like we're still good friends now, and they're Portuguese. So they would take me to Portugal. I went to Portugal to hang out with them and their family. So I was learning Portuguese too, at the same time.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So.
Wow. So today we are going to use this dish to make sushi. And yeah, you have so many, as I said, pockets, so many sides of you. But like we are going for Ecuadorian dish, and we're gonna make sushi. So tell us about this dish. Ta-da!
Look at that. Isn't that delicious or what?
Yeah, looks amazing. It's
So-
huge too.
So this one is actually called Bandera Ecuatoriana, which is Ecuatoriana is probably the name of the place that we had ordered this from. But it contains arroz con guatita, which is rice and kind of like beef tripe, seco de chivo o carne y ceviche de camarón con maduro frito. So a bit of chicken or meat as well as ceviche, was kind of like a shrimp cocktail kind of a thing, and dried plantain, fried plantain rather.
Yeah. Whoa, it's huge.
Looks
This
delicious.
is my hand. Like, yeah, it's huge. Okay, I'm gonna dig in. I mean, I have to roll sushi for the sake of the show, but but yeah, this looks amazing. So yeah, tell us about Ecuadorian cuisine. What's like a common thing to eat? What do people love?
Oh, what? Yeah, I mean, when I was growing up, my mom, we would have mixed food, because like, like that with that one thing we had about like the dictionary thing, like translating words and stuff, and the other side too is like different cultures and trying the different foods. And I'm sure during that time when a lot of people from different cultures, there wasn't a lot of many restaurants of different places or opportunities to eat, so trying each other's food. So I remember when we were growing up, my mom used to make a lot of fusion food. She would make kimbap, which is kind of like a Japanese equivalent of sushi in a way, but just rolling things.
Yes.
But she would
Did
just
you put like kimchi in there?
yeah, she would put kimchi, or she would put like like a breakfast one, so it'd just be like strips of bacon or like egg and rice and kimchi and stuff. And kimchi, tastes great fried as well. But for Ecuadorian food, rice is okay with like Ecuadorian food and Korean food. That's like the meeting, like the middle ground, that they both like rice with their food.
True.
A lot of like minestra, which is kind of like beans, like lentils.
Minestra. Oh, okay, yeah.
Like minestrone, like minestra, and that was always really great. She would remember when I remember going to Ecuador, and it was like 2 a.m, and then one of the neighbors, they were just making kind of like a Spanish jambalaya. And
What was jambalaya?
jambalaya, I think it's like I'm sure someone's gonna correct me on this, but it's more like an American stew. I think maybe based from like New Orleans, I feel, and they put like a lot of different things like carrots and potatoes and sausage, or like crabs, and just kind of work on this thing. So they had something very similar there when I was there. It was so good. It was like it was almost like a crab stew, and I think they just left it there so much that it wasn't even hard, the crab itself. Like it just kind of break down very easily to eat. And ceviche is a very common thing there too. It's like kind of like a shrimp cocktail kind of a thing. It's very light, and yeah, it's great too.
It's a really hot country, right? So you have lots of like fresh things, or is it more like, oh, it's hot, so let's eat hot things?
That's that's really interesting. So the reason why it's called Ecuador is because it's actually literally right in the middle of the equator. So that's how they get the name there. And it is a very like warm climate. There is no winter there at all. And yeah, like I remember going back there in maybe 7 years ago, and I brought some Korean food. there.
Oh, really?
Just for them to try. And I think that probably was the first time anyone in Ecuador probably had Korean food, because when I was there, I never saw any Korean restaurants, nothing. Like, did see like one sushi place and I tried it and it was not for me, unfortunately. But a lot of other food they have, but not necessarily Korean from what I remember. And I remember like giving them dried seaweed, kim, and they never had it before, you know. And when they tried, they're like, whoa, this is not that, this is pretty good. You can just eat it like this? Like, no, you can like wrap it with rice or other things in there and you can eat it. And then that kind of blew their minds. But spicy food, not that much, really.
Oh, really?
No, not a lot of spicy food. A lot of fruits, because, you know.
Oh, what kind of fruit?
I remember mango, for sure. Mango is huge. I think that's why I love mango so much. It was like one of my favorite pieces of fruit in the world. I remember when I was young, when we were in Ecuador, you could literally just walk down the street and there would be like a mango tree and you just shake it and then you could just get it. It was like in abundance during that time.
Wow.
It was very, very like, wow, this is very interesting.
Paradise. I love mangoes.
Yeah, mangoes taste so good too. I'm just thinking about mangoes now, like mango, like bubble tea. I'm not sure if you ever had that before. Like, that's just like one of my favorites. But
yeah.
And then a lot of plantain, kind of like we mentioned before, that's in that dish. So plantain looks very similar to banana, right? But it's a little bit bigger, and usually you want to eat the banana when it's yellow, because it's like very nutritious. When it's black, it's a big no-no. But it's the opposite for plantain, and it really depends how you want to serve it or eat it. So, for example, my abuelita, my grandma from Ecuador, when she was living with us at a time when we were in Toronto, very young, she would actually take us like to the local, you know, Spanish grocery store, get some plantains, and she would wait until they were very black on the outside of it, like the skin. And you'd be so worried, like, what are we doing with this? Shouldn't we throw it out or anything? It's like, no, just wait. And then the longer you wait for it, the sweeter the inside of the plantain is. So then what you can do is get a pan, put it on high. Coconut oil is really good too, to give some extra flavor, and put in slices of those plantains in there. And it's only like 3 minutes, like really, really quick. Just flip them over. And it's a really great kind of morning meal, or like a quick snack, and like a good spoonful of peanut butter. It makes it really good too.
Peanut butter. Wow, that's surprising to me.
Yeah, peanut butter is good too. And the other way too that some people have it is just like just cooking it before it is dark, and then it's more of like a crispy, or more like a starchy, kind of like a potato kind of a feel. So I'm sure some people probably go into those stores and you'll see like the banana chips, and they're very dried and kind of a thing. So it has that kind of the same feel to it.
Well, I actually ordered this extra little thing. So
those were my favorite when I was growing up. That particular brand.
Are you serious?
Plantain. Shout out to Golden Banana. That looks like a little pickle to me, though.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's a pickle. Yeah.
Or is this a pickle?
What is happening? Hello.
Mom?
Wilfred.
Mom, is that you?
I miss
I've been waiting for you this whole time. I love what you did with your hair, and I just think this is such a great time to reunite.
Yeah, it's like Marge Simpson style.
So I'm getting too emotional. I have to stop this bit.
Who are you, Wilfred?
I usually laugh.
I know you are chicken. Now you're a pickle. Yeah. This dish, as you were saying, like things get cooked long and then like soft. This, I think it's beef. This breaks. Like it's so easy to break. Like I can just like break this down with my chopsticks. It's so soft. And also avocado. It's so like perfect. I used to work for a sushi restaurant. That's why I have this show. And I'm so picky with avocados. This is like they know what they're doing with avocados.
Isn't that interesting when you go to certain restaurants and just by looking at one particular item, you kind of know like how they do everything. Like I remember when I go to like Korean restaurants and then just with like the side dish, it was like or a specific type of kimchi, I'm just like, okay, this is like a good restaurant. Right?
Yeah, rice for me when I go to a restaurant and then like sushi restaurant, like if the rice is not right, then I'm like, okay. When rice is good, I'm like, doesn't matter how dirty this place is, doesn't matter how sketchy the area is, this is a good restaurant.
Yeah, so how is all about that rice?
Yeah. Okay, so Ecuadorian food is not spicy, and then there's meat, there's seafood, there's rice, and plantain, lots of fruits is what I learned so far. How about culture-wise, and especially because you can compare with Korean culture and Ecuadorian culture, what's like a biggest difference, or like that sticks out from like comparing to Korean culture? What kind of interesting things can you tell us?
Yeah, I think might be a good way to start is like growing up and kind of discovering both of those sides at the same time. So, for example, Korea comes more from what they call a bali culture. Bali means hurry. So whenever you're going somewhere, they're kind of thinking more on minutes. I need like 2 minutes to get to the subway. It's going to take me from this station to this station in 10. I get out, I can, that's how they're thinking that mind frame. Where in Ecuador, that kind of mind frame is like totally not it at all. It's so much more laid back. Like they're not thinking about that kind of rush. So I guess that's like the first feeling I got, like the atmosphere of time, especially if you go to either of those places. And they're very open, like they're very curious. I remember when I was there, I was probably the only Asian person they probably would see, and they didn't realize I could speak Spanish, right? So I think that was kind of interesting to kind of just sit down with them sometimes and just explain like what's going on, my background or whatever. But they love music, they love to dance, like they're such a party culture.
Nice.
The full-on hours of the day, just bring out huge speakers in the front of their house and just blast it and just like play music and chill. So
what kind of music do they listen to?
Salsa, merengue. It all sounds the same sometimes. Like
really?
And then it just like has a new beat on top of it and stuff. So but yeah, I remember salsa, merengue used to play a lot. My mom, she would have parties over at our apartment and we would have to dance. And I'm like, no, please, no. I don't want it. And we had to like, she's like, do the merengue dance. We had to like learn how to move our hips and stuff. So they really do love to dance.
That's awesome.
And then for whatever reason, that was like the first dance move I learned. So when I go to high school, everyone's dancing differently, and I'm just like merengue style. Like, why are you dancing like this to Usher? Like, what this is Backstreet Boys. Why are you doing this dance? And I'm like, I don't know. I just feel my hips.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Okay, and the concept of time is so interesting. Like that. Yeah, I don't think I have ever really like talked about that in this show much, but that really defines like different culture to me as well. Like in Japan, it's pretty similar to Korea, I'm sure. It's like go, and how you phrase it is perfect. Like we move by the minute. Like if you're on time, like if we are meeting at 7 p.m. and if I show up at 7 p.m., you're late. Like you have to be at 6:55, otherwise you're late. And
I just want to apologize for being late today.
Yeah, I'm always late. I'm always late in Canadian time. I'm always late in world term. Like in Japan, I'm fired. I'm always late.
You know how many times I almost got fired in Korea for being late?
But being late meaning like, okay, you show up at like 7:01 and then they're like, no, you're supposed to be here at 6:55 even though the paper it says 7. Like it's the concept of time, so interesting. And Ecuador, like a lot more chill.
Yeah, just a lot more chill. Like just the rate of like a totally different cultures, like in terms of like building. Like where I was living in Guayaquil, or just where my mom was, it's not so developed in that particular area. Really, it has been a lot more since then, but yeah, you have to really go to like certain metropolitan areas to kind of see a lot of things. But other than that, like the most of it is not so much developed compared to like Korea or anything like that. But another thing that was interesting, you kind of reminded me of when we think of like Japan or Korean, like these Asian places, compared to like Latin base, where it's like A, B, C, D, and we have like all these accents. Like even visually, how those languages look, I feel reflects a lot about the different cultures. So, for example, when you see the little words in English, they look very flat and they're like spaced out, kind of like what you would see in Canada, where everything is like flat and spaced out, where people live. Like they're like tiny neighborhoods. Every word is a neighborhood, and you're making a sentence is like a neighborhood of words. Okay. But when you look at like Japanese or Korean or Chinese, it's like it's stacked on top of each other. Like it's combined like this, and then this, and then I felt that so much when I would walk around Korea to see like how they express themselves through their language is almost in a way how they live too, compared to like English or other things too. So I don't know. I'm not a scientist, by the way. I just said, hey, that's kind of interesting, whatever that means.
Yeah, that's such an interesting observation. I've never thought of that. But Japanese books are thinner than English books when you read same books. I think it's because it's more condensed. So the same amount of information, but it's more condensed. So yeah, what you are saying is like it. Like I know Chinese for sure. I don't know much about Korean, but Chinese, like each letter contains a meaning, right? But like if you're just using English language, A doesn't mean like certain things, and so I guess it has more information in a smaller portion of a sentence or a paragraph or stuff like that. So yeah, that's interesting. Maybe like newspaper and stuff looks more black.
No, and it's true because like a lot of Asian language, for example, Korean is like stems from Hanja, which is like the traditional like Chinese, symbolism. So that kind of language is like iconographic. So it's like based on images, and then slowly they develop to symbols, and then use those symbols to make those words. So you get like a feeling of what this is supposed to be. So when you see like these symbols and then a symbol, it's so hard for me when I was learning to get that into my mind, because coming from like primarily English or Latin based language, we like to be very specific and to like try to like get it through like the pin of a needle kind of a thing. Whereas sometimes with like Asian languages, especially in Korea, instead of saying like I think it's gonna rain, you would just say seems like the atmosphere, rain is changing around you. It's like like it's just a different way of describing things. So
yes. Oh, that's interesting. Does that mean like how people talk to each other is different in a sense of not so straightforward or like beat around the bush kind of way?
Well, like look, both of us, we both speak, different languages too. Do you ever feel like your personality changes when you're speaking one language than the other, or like your sense of expression?
Yes. I think when I'm speaking in Japanese, no, I was gonna say when I'm speaking in Japanese, I'm more like a party person, but that's not really true. Because
you're a party person. I party with Ayaka. I can confirm this. If you want the photos, I have the facts.
Okay. But maybe I thought I'm more extrovert when I speak in Japanese. But maybe not because of the language itself, but maybe I feel more maybe insecure about my English skills. Maybe that's why. But I hear so many people say, "Oh yeah, when I speak this certain language, my personality changes." Like I hear that for sure. You? What about you?
No, I think that's a really good point too, because it is a good question. Like, how much of it is because it's a different language, and how much is it because I don't really know everything? Because a lot of people go through that whenever they go somewhere else. Like, you have to start with a limited amount of language in the beginning, obviously, and it limits your way to express things. Like, And
Yeah.
that's like, but I've known some, like a lot of people who don't speak a particular language, but their confidence is just like admirable.
Yes.
Like I remember
Yes.
like my Muay Thai teacher in Korea knew no English at all, but he just kind of, I just understood what he meant, you know, just by like his attitude and like not being afraid to kind of just get his meaning or his thought across. So
Yeah. I think as I get older, that insecurity is going away in general, and that for the language as well. And I'm trying to like all my accent. Like I have accent, but like that's fine. This is my second language. It's fine. Or like maybe I make a mistake when I speak or I write, or maybe I spell something wrong. And I used to be like, no, it has to be perfect. I have to learn the language well to deserve to be here in Canada, another country. But now I'm like, nah, everyone speaks differently, especially in Toronto. And even like English speakers, they don't use the proper language anyway. It's just like language is also evolving. And so, yeah, I think I feel less insecure and becoming more myself when I speak English, I think.
Yeah, and you're like, and you're right too, 100% that language is evolving. So I'm just waiting until emojis is just how we talk, and that becomes the future hieroglyphics.
Yeah, that's going back to the language you're talking about, like Egyptian language. Like it's all emojis, and now we are going back to it.
It's just iconographic, you know. So.
Yeah. Okay, so you also lived in Korea. And how was that? Tell us, how did you feel? What did you do there? What was your life like?
Woo! Whoa! How much time we have? Oh man, I got to tell you, I'm first of all very happy to see how mainstream entertainment is much more open to Korean content. You know, just in general and stuff. You know, growing up, it was very hard. I was always like running away, trying to make sure I survived. It was always like, I don't want to turn around because I feel like there's someone behind me right now. I know she stopped singing, but like, when do I move? I got 3 minutes to catch the subway. I got to tell you, that's just how it was like.
That's how your life was. It was a Squid Game episode.
No, but seriously though, Korea is amazing. I still have. It's like that feeling you get in any relationship you've ever been in your life. There's like a little strand of them, you know, that kind of, you know, connects with you. And living in Korea, you know, it's just like I spent 10 years of my life there. Was literally all my 20s. And I learned so much every single year. And that was by just wanting to learn about the culture, learning the language, and getting to meet people. And I just love the juxtaposition of like century-old, you know, temples right beside a skyscraper. I just really love walking by those type of areas, and it was just so different too in terms. And like we said, time is different, food is different, you know, communication and everything. So yeah, a lot of great memories about Korea for sure.
That's so cool. And like, it really describes who you are. Like you do so many different things, and then like speak so many languages, so many places you have been to, and all that kind of stuff. Like sums up in like just in one person. You're so capable of like being flexible and versatile and stuff like that. Yeah, it sounds like it, because you're like, okay, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna learn this culture. I'm gonna learn this country. That's a beautiful thing. Very, very cool.
I think I learned that just from Bruce Lee. Just like Bruce Lee, be like water, be like water, that kind of a thing.
Yes.
Just empty your mind. I loved that whole. You know, Bruce Lee was an artist too. He had some really great drawings and stuff.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, he was a really great artist.
Wow.
You ever see any of his philosophy books? He used to do a lot of great drawings.
Wow. Yeah, I know that Lucy water thing from Cowboy Bebop, which is one of my favorite cartoons. They quote that. Yeah, exactly.
We don't want
So
to get
yeah.
copyrighted here. Sorry.
Yeah, oops. Yeah, I love Cowboy Bebop. Anyway, so as we're talking, I rolled sushi, so can I show you? And Wilfred,
Yay!
sushi. Name the sushi for us.
美味しいですね。
美味しいですよ.
Delicioso. 맛있겠네.
Yeah, name this. How would you like to call this sushi?
Oh my gosh. Well, the original thing you got out was banderas.
Mhm.
The oh my gosh, how do you go? Oh, it just looks let's call it the Antonio Banderas Quito Quito sushi.
Antonio Banderas Quito sushi. Yay!
Quito sushi.
Actually, for keto diet, yay! Thank you, Sean. For
Awesome.
keto
Yeah.
diet is like, what do you avoid eating for keto diet?
Just food. You know, you
Just
just try to get by every day. Just drink water. And we just don't drink enough water. I think that's the most important thing.
Okay, so yeah, this is, I don't know if it's keto approved or not, but yeah, we are calling it keto, the Ecuadorian way. Going back to the toast joke, yeah. Call back. Thank you. Okay, so Wilfred, I'm gonna eat a piece. Usually I make it really nice and flat and nice, but I decided to put those like a sticking out, I think it's intestine or something in the middle, because owner in the Ecuadorian, okay, like be flexible, and Korean be more legit, I guess. Just wanted to have this cultural chaos in a beautiful way. Yeah.
I feel it and I see it.
Yeah, so that's my presentation of the sushi today. And yeah, so Wilfred, I don't want anyone to be hearing me chewing while I eat. So would you do us an honor and sing us a song while I eat?
I thought I was going to do the voiceovers of you chewing. So they're eating. I'm just like.
That's art. That's also art.
Okay. A song, right? Okay.
Yeah, sing us a song.
Okay, you just go ahead eating. I'm going to just break down this song. So let's do a Spanish song. This song, I forget the movie, but it's by it's a movie from Spain, basically. But the song is called Cucuru Paloma.
Paloma. Cucuru Paloma. Thank
Here we go. Acapella. Please don't judge. Or judge all you want. Here we go. Dice que no comía, no más se la haría por yo llorar. Dice que no dormía, no más a la vida por yo tomar. Cantan que el mismo cielo se estremece al horizonte como lloro pollera que hasta en su muerta la fue llamando. Ay, 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 cantaba. Ay, 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 there we go.
Amazing singer. I thought you're an artist, you're an actor, you also sing. What the heck, Wilfred?
I can also fix your computer if you're having issues. Just try turning it on and off first. And I love dogs and cats. And yeah, I do all those things.
So versatile. The sushi is so good. It's so good. And
is it really?
It's actually really, really, really good.
Can I just ask? I'm just curious. What is it about? Like, can you describe the flavors to me?
Okay, so I taste. I put a bunch of things, but one thing I didn't put is that big shrimp because it was already like I was putting so many things. So the meat, I taste meat. I taste It's not garlicky. It's like oniony sauce, I think. But also I put like the ceviche tomato and pepper and all that kind of stuff as well in there. So it's like all mixed, but it's really good. It's refreshing at the same time as like there's a little, I don't know, heaviness to it. I also put the arroz, the rice in there too. So rice within rice, the inception of rice sushi. And I think it's potatoes. I can't really tell. It's in this like yellow part. This piece I cut like small pieces and put that in there too. But yeah, now I just want to have it by itself so I know exactly how they taste like. Any like have you had everything here? Like do you know how they taste like?
Kind of, I think.
Okay.
Just trying to figure it out.
This,
Yeah, it looks good.
This big piece of, I guess, beef, it just like breaks down like so easily, like with just chopsticks. It's so soft.
Yeah, it's like pulled pork kind of a thing. It's like maybe like cooked for a really, really long time.
Yeah, also good.
Yeah.
And I think those all green things is that cilantro? Like
Sriracha?
cilantro.
Oh, cilantro.
Cilantro. Is it?
Maybe that's what it said on the description. I think it said chivo, so it could have been chives.
Yes.
But
cilantro. Yeah. Yeah, I associate cilantro with like lots of South Asian dishes, but I guess lots of Latino dishes you use that too. I guess, or Mexicans use that.
I think so. I mean, it's growing there. I remember when I went to Ecuador, we found one Chinese restaurant.
Oh, really?
And I was like, yeah, let's just go. Let's just check it out. But the people there were not Chinese making the food, and when they brought out the fried rice. When we were getting ready to eat, they were all looking at me, waiting to see what my reaction was. Like,
that's so funny.
And I'm like, can I get some sauce for this? They're like, yeah, sure. And they gave me a bottle of ketchup for this, and I was like, should I use this ketchup?
That's so funny. They're like, if this person likes it, we're good.
I was like the Gordon Ramsay of Ecuador. Or something. I was like, no, I'm just hungry, man. Like, we just drove by. No judge, no hate. I just want to eat something.
So funny. And then this is intestine, you said? The yellow
tripe. Yeah. So it's intestine. And that's honestly, that's one of my favorite dishes in Korean too. They have this thing called gopchang. And it's like cut tripe. And you have to kind of like Korean barbecue. You just cook it for a really long time, so it's nice and a little bit crispy on the top, and a little bit gelatinous like that. So anytime people make something with that, I just find it interesting because it's not for everybody. But if you make it really good, it's like delicious. So
exactly what you said. It's a little chewy, crunchy, everything, and then it's soft at the same time. It's like, yeah. Oh, it tastes good. And then I have to try the ceviche, the shrimp cocktail. Ceviche is not, it's raw, but cooked in vinegar or some kind of acidic thing, right? Is that right?
That's a good question. That I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not a good chef, not like you at least. So I don't know these things. I try. I just watch compilations.
One thing that you are okay. Everything else you like master of everything. Yeah, so good. Everybody, you have to go here. This is so good. Toronto food. Yes, downtown. Oh, so food. Good.
Muchas gracias por la comida, Toronto food.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Para comida. Yeah, I checked this place. It's 5 stars out of 5 stars on Google. So everybody, check this out. It's so good. I am impressed. Oh yeah, I also had passion fruit juice because they had it on the menu. I thought maybe it's Seann. I thought it would be
passion fruit. How's the passion fruit?
Really good.
You like passion fruit?
I don't usually care for it. I don't know much about passion fruit.
Like no one really thinks about passion fruit, right? It's just
but this is so good. Where's my tequila? Where's my vodka? Oh,
sorry, Party time with Ayaka. There we go.
Fiesta.
It's happening.
This is so good. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Bye. I'm gonna put some ramen there. Okay, but yeah, Wilfred, it was a success. This is so delicious, and I learned so much about the culture and about you. Like you do so many different things. Yeah, I'm sure we can find you on the internet somewhere. What is there like Insta or something you want us to check out?
Yeah, I actually have a link tree. I'll definitely send it over to you guys to check it out. But I usually use Linktree /artist journey. That's kind of like my old social media name. I'll send it over to Seann. But
yeah, everybody check out what Wilfred does, because I cannot explain everything.
That's why I was like, just go there and you'll see like a list of things. You choose whatever.
Yeah, so many different things. But yeah, it was a success. Thank you so much, Wilfred. It was so good.
Yeah, and I just wanted to leave you with one little gift. So yeah, so I've been working on this thing called GAN art, which is basically artificial intelligence art, where I work with the software and I just type in any type of phrase, any type of sentence, and then the AI collects a lot of from a huge database of images and tries to make something based on that sentence. So I tried it today with Ayaka's Kitchen. So I want to show you what the AI thinks when I tell it, show me what Ayaka's Kitchen is. And you want to see what the AI thinks of what Ayaka's Kitchen is? Here we go. I made a few, so let's check it out here.
I'm excited.
Ayaka's Kitchen.
Wow, like a spirited away kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's nice and colorful. Look how fresh all that produce is, even though I have no idea what kind.
Wow, like artsy kitchen.
There's a little bit of Ghibli in there.
Yeah, definitely Ghibli. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ayaka's Kitchen.
Oh, cute, beautiful.
This was very cool.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there you go. I just wanted to kind of share that just to say thanks so much for having me here. I always love everything you do, and I'm such a huge fan of Ayaka's Kitchen. I'm so happy to be here. So thanks for sharing and having me here.
Thank you, Wilfred. Now I know how AI think of this show, and I'm honored. Like they look beautiful, artsy, delicious things. So yeah, and yeah, Wilfred, thank you so much for coming to my kitchen on the other side of the screen. But yeah, you do so many different things. You're such an interesting person. Everybody check out the Wilfred Linktree. Anything he does, actor, painter, AI robot maker.
Just storyteller. I just love to write stories in any way I can.
Yeah, you do so many different things. Okay, thank you everyone for watching. This has been Ayaka's Kitchen with Wilfred Lee, and here's the donation link. Badog is a great place to be, so let's support Badog Comedy TV, and don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video. Subscribe, like, subscribe, no message. Yes, good. Thank you, Seann. And yes, I'm gonna say that one more time. Thank you, Seann, for just keeping this show running. Without Seann, this is not gonna run, because I'm like, okay, bye. I'm gonna have some ramen, passion fruit. But yeah, thank you, Seann. So much. And again, everybody, thank you so much for watching. So, Wilfred, what do you say when you're like, okay, peace out, bye, in any of the languages that you speak?
Oh, any of the language? Okay, let's.
Oh.
Muchas gracias todos mis amigos y amigas. Ciao.
Okay,
Ciao.
Muchas gracias a todos amigas, amigos, and Shrek. Ciao, ciao.
Muchas gracias. Ciao. Bye.